Hey, Money Multipliers. Welcome back to another episode of the Money Multiplier podcast. I'm your host, Hannah Kessler, and we ask ourselves, do our dollars make sense? Today, I have a very fun and exciting episode. If you are listening today, I would encourage you maybe hop over to the YouTube channel. I am joined by the one and only Mr. Chris Noggle, and we have some very important information to cover today. Did y'all know a study done by Lending Tree states that the average cost of raising a child costs approximately $240,000. And that's a 20% increase from 2016 to 2021. And now, since 2021, it's increasing even more due to the cost of living and the hidden tax that we like to call inflation. In today's episode, Chris and I are going to be walking through a case study showing a family who is struggling a little bit to get by, and we want to show them how to take back the control of their money and become their own bankers in their own life. And just by doing so, making that one additional change dramatically changes everything else in their financial life. If you're a parent, you need to listen to this episode. If you are single and planning to have a family in the future, you need to listen to this episode. If you're in debt, you need to listen to this episode. Or if you're the type of person that you do have it all figured out financially, you definitely need to listen to this episode. I'm Hannah Kessler, and let's get into it. Reminder, y'all, every week I'm here with a new live episode. So click the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below. I want to hear from you. Let's get into it. Hey, Chris, people are really discouraged from having children. And I get it, me being in that Gen Z demographic, I didn't even think I wanted to have children up until recently, let alone even getting married. I think we have a real problem that's coming along the horizon.
No joke. I mean, your generation, doesn't seem like any of you are having any kids. I mean, my generation's doing its part. Come on, you got to get on it. I mean, this is a real problem, but it makes perfect sense. I mean, look at what's going on. The cost of living is up over 20%. You've got major stresses out there just for running a household, and you got mental health running crazy. So it really isn't a surprise that we're seeing declines.
Yeah, I know. And if you also look at it too, the fertility rates have even been decreasing 3% since 2022. We have an issue that we need to really get on top of.
Well, that you better start popping some kids out. I mean, come on, you got to get going. I mean, we are at historic lows. I mean, this article that the team found, which I'll show, shows that for the last 2 years, we've had 2 consecutive declines.
And we got to get on that because think about it, all these baby boomers who are getting out of business. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of small businesses that are up for sale too. And I don't want to live in a world where big banks and big government are controlling and dictating everything. That's the great thing about America is we have the pleasures and the opportunities to build our own businesses and leave a legacy for ourselves and our families.
But the United States of America can't continue. I mean, the history books show it. I just finished a really good book. You should check it out. It's called The End of the World is Just the Beginning. It's all about geopolitics, but it talks a lot about this problem with population. And here's the scary thing. We're talking negatively about the U.S. The U.S. is better than most places. Japan, done. China, donezo. They stopped having kids a while ago. They'll never be able to recoup. So if you're going to grow a country's GDP, if you're going to continue manufacturing and being a dominant country, there's got to be people to work the jobs. I mean, you got to pop kids out.
Yeah, because we don't want to, I don't know, some people have some opinions on this, but I would rather take care of our people here in America instead of having foreign labor come over, or we need to.
Right. It's the greatest country on earth, the land of the free, the home of the brave. I mean, come on. You can't have all those things if we've got a declining population.
That's it. So it's clear that we're headed in the wrong direction, if I can say. And I guess I want to ask, what do you think should our solutions be?
Wow. What are the solutions? Well, Hannah, we could just have our kids get into politics and then they could change the system. So, that's one option.
Yeah.
We
too
could
long,
always,
too lengthy.
Like some of the actors, we could just move to another country. I hear Jamaica's nice. I mean, beaches 24/7.
What, 85 sunny all year round? That's not a bad idea.
Perfect. In the books I listen to, immigration's definitely a way to keep population going up. Legal immigration, that is. If you got immigrants coming in, they'll do the jobs that most Americans will not and allow us. I mean, come on, you know the story with most immigrants.
Yeah, and that's an okay idea. Here's my biggest thing is that I want our people to be taken care of first. Yes, I do agree with legal immigration, but the illegal, I get why they're...
Well, that's got to go. That's got to go.
They want to, better themselves, better their life. That's why they come here to America. And I think we as Americans, we get a little too comfortable. And I get it, it's hard. It's hard to work out of the ditch that you're digging yourself in, because sometimes people are getting into debt because they got to buy a house, they got to send the kids to college, and they think they're doing all these great things for their family, which are great, but now they're just getting stuck in this financial hamster wheel with themselves.
All right, so this is my final solution. I think this is the one. We just need to learn to adapt to the system, take back control of our money, and become your own bank.
I really like that idea. I think we should really whiteboard that one out, because I think we have a case study on this.
We do. Yeah, let's look at that.
Let's get into how a family, an average American family, can break these bonds and financial slavery that they don't even understand that they are in.
Sounds good. How about after I take a nap?
And we're back. We're here at the whiteboard. I want to go through the Johnson family example of budgeting.
Yeah, and not only that, they're an upper middle class, which means they make over $140,000.
Real quick though, who established lower upper middle class? Do you know?
Funny you should ask that. We did a YouTube video that I'll post at the end all about who came up with this nonsense.
So here's the example of our Johnson family.
Aw, look at them.
So we have members of 4 people in this family. We have a mom who's 35, a dad who's 38, a son who's 2 years old, and then a daughter who's 5.
Vicky's almost 5. That's scary to think.
She's about to go off and go to college, start dating soon.
Yeah. So mom's an elementary school teacher making 50 grand. Dad is a marketing director making $90,000, which makes it their gross income is $140,000. That does make them upper middle class.
And recently, they are upper middle class because the median household, was right around 65 to 75 a year?
I think I remember seeing that in 2023 it was actually 80,000. But remember, incomes went up while all the inflation was going up. The real question, the real video we should be doing next is, did incomes go up as fast as the cost of living? That will be an interesting stat.
I think that's going to be an upcoming What Now, What Next video. Woohoo! Now here's our monthly costs for the Johnson family. Necessary expenses, we have our housing coming in at $2,000 a month, childcare $1,500 a month, our groceries $800, utilities $350, health insurance $600.
What's crazy about this? Not to interrupt, but how real are these? This is like most American households. I mean, I'm sorry, keep going.
And to continue on, we got our transportation coming in at $600 a month with our gas, car insurance, the maintenance, and the repairs. And we have our debts coming in at $1,050 a month, which includes student loans. And then we got our miscellaneous expenses, $400 a month, for the kids' clothing, the school supplies, the diapers, et cetera, et cetera.
Can you have a talk with my wife about that? Tell her that's what it should be.
What is yours, 14?
I don't even want to get into it, but it's
called the Paw Patrol. We need it.
It's Paw Patrol, Paw Patrol, Paw Patrol. Yep, no pup's too small.
So in total, our expenses going out each month is $7,300.
So if that's their cost, like, how much are they actually bringing in every single month? I mean, some families are probably living paycheck to paycheck. And the other thing, too, that I noticed, we're going to get into this in a bit, but there's a lot of opportunity right there.
There is.
And the opportunity isn't Biden paying your student loans off.
No, it's correcting where the money flows first.
Yeah. So this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where we literally see how is the Johnson family doing. So their total net monthly income, $9,100. Total monthly expenses, $8,150, and that doesn't account for anything moving in and out there.
Yeah.
So they got $950 a month of disposable income.
And this is not even talking about what happens if, for like myself, my van got flooded, right? I need a whole new engine in that thing. This isn't even calculating up the emergency funds of things that could happen during their lifetime that they need to prep for.
This is what most American families are faced with. Yes, there's disposable income. It doesn't seem like there's any money left at the end of the month. I mean, if the money is going into the checking account, to me, most checking accounts are like a black hole. they zero out at the end of the month. It's just everything gets evaporated into it. But $950 a month needs to account for retirement, needs to account for an emergency fund, a savings program, like future college savings for those little ones. I mean, we haven't even accounted for any of that. $950 a month is gonna go fast, and this is an upper middle class family.
Doesn't seem like a lot, does it?
Doesn't seem like a lot at all. I mean, come on, any of you watching this, in the comments below, is this a lot of money? Does this similar to what you're going through? We see this every single day and hear about this on the calls and the Zooms that we do with our clients. But you know what? The worst thing you can do is be in a situation like this and think there's no hope.
And here's what some people think. They think that they gotta save more, cut down on their expenses. And yeah, those are good solutions, good ideas, but what if we changed where the money was going first?
Well, I like rice and beans personally. It's my favorite food group, beans and rice and beans, all good by me. But for many of you, you probably don't. You want the filet, and then,
some steak, Chris.
Yeah, some of the gurus out there are like, oh, just stop drinking Starbucks. No more coffee. Make your coffee at home, and no more creamers. You got to save and pinch. That is not the way to do it. Most people should not focus on cutting till they don't enjoy life. They should focus on what can they change given their current numbers to improve that. And that's exactly what we're going next.
Keeps the money. I think that's a big crucial thing. How can I keep the money that I'm already making instead of limiting down what I'm spending the money on? Because this is life. You should be able to live a purpose-driven life.
I mean, listen, like the first law of wealth from the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, the first rule of gold was keep 10% of what you make. But that isn't what we're taught. We are taught to make money, pay all of our bills and expenses, and then keep what's left, which is what we just showed you. That's backwards. You must keep your money first, and then pay all your bills next. But in order to do that, you'd have to understand how to turn your debts and expenses into your wealth.
And assets. I think now that we got it nailed down, what the majority and the masses here, all right, we're keeping $950 a month. Where do we go from here? What are the changes that we need to make?
Take back the money we're giving away.
Now, before we get deeper into this, let's talk about their debt snapshot. Student loans, $25,000 at 5% is coming in at $250 a month. We got our car loan, $18,000, 4% interest, $400 a month. And then our credit card debt, $5,000 is what we owe to the credit card folks. 18% interest, $400 a month is our minimum.
How many of you would like to make 18% on your investments, like in your 401k, your retirement account, and all your investments? That would be a good return, right? How many of you would like to make 18% guaranteed without any risk?
And see, what most people are thinking is that, hey, let me take that $950 a month that I'm keeping and let's go invest into other things that gets me higher rates of return than this 18% that I'm being charged for my credit card people. But instead of doing that, instead of investing the money that we're saving, how about I reposition this and eliminate my debt instead of me sending this $5,000, $18,000, $25,000 to the third-party creditors? Why don't I just circulate that back to myself, my own privatized banking system?
That would make sense. I mean, instead of paying 18% to them, pay 18% to yourself. It's the same difference. You're recycling and recapturing the return that you're giving away. It's no different. Even 4% or 5%, people love their high yield savings accounts that are getting 4 or 5%. But then when the Fed drops interest rates, which they have been, everybody's like, oh, why did my interest rate go down? How come they're dropping rates? Well, it's because the Fed's in control, not you. But here, you're in full control of that. You're paying out 5%. And if you paid this debt off and paid yourself back to $250 a month, you'd be making the same 5% without any risk. It'd be no different. Plus, you'd be building wealth instead of giving wealth away.
You hit the nail on the head. This involves no risk, because most of the time when your financial advisors or those folks in your life that are coming to you talking about your money, what I like to call your broke-ass brother-in-law, most of the time, those people want to tackle on the money that you are keeping, the money that you are saving, invest those dollars, and it's an investment. It involves risk. All of this, you control this. You control where your money flows to each and every month. So instead of just sending it out to the other people, you're now cycling it back to you, no risk, and in my opinion, guaranteed.
Yeah, but most folks out there are getting bad advice because they're being told, oh, wow, take that $950, invest it, put it into your 401k, put it over here, because they want to control the money. They want the fees on the money.
Yep.
And we're being led to believe that that's just what you do. When you got disposable income, you invest it for the hope and pray you're going to make more. You know, the other thing about what you just said is it doesn't involve the Johnson family working any harder.
No.
It doesn't involve them working overtime, working longer, being away from their family anymore.
Taking additional risk.
No risk. No risk.
Not losing control.
It's literally taking back control of the money and the interest rates that they're giving away right now. So when I look at the Johnson family's scenario here, I notice a couple things that are a little out of whack. First off, student loans, $25,000. That's pretty low if you really think about it. There's a lot of folks that we deal with that have way higher student loans.
My chiropractor's got 4 times more than that.
Absolutely. 5% interest is probably about right. The other thing too, the car loan at $18,000, that means they've had that car loan for a while. They probably financed that car back when interest rates were really low, because 4%, none of you are probably going to be able to get a loan for a car from a traditional bank at 4%.
Wait, hold on. I can. From my privatized banking system, but we'll get there.
Oh, now you're just teasing them. All right, and then you got credit cards, $5,000, not bad at all for credit cards, but 18%. Most credit cards today are far more than 18%. As the Fed pushed rates up, interest rates on credit cards went up. So the average credit card debt right now is like 25% interest.
Yeah.
But if we just take all these numbers, we take the interest that they're paying, add them up, so 5, 4, and 18, divide them by the 3 debts, that means their
15%.
that's their average interest rate that they're giving away. But in their mind, they're looking at it like, wow, honey, we got such a good deal on this car. Wow, our student loan debts are 5%. That's no big deal. Let's keep paying them because they're cheap. Credit cards, they're always trying to pay the credit cards off.
That's what Nelson always talks about, because it's not the rate that's killing our Johnson family. It's the volume of the interest that they're sending out the door each and every month
Bingo.
to the third party.
Bingo. In that amount, they're giving away $1,050 a month. So just think about this real quick, folks. When you're looking at this, because we haven't even gotten to the meat and the potato, you spilled the beans a little bit by talking about your private bank. But let's think about this. Imagine if this Johnson family added $1,050 a month to their savings.
Yeah.
They were at $950, so let's write that down. Right now, they have discretionary income of $950. But what if we could turn $950 into $2,000 a month without taking any risk, without working any harder or longer, just by changing the order in how they do things? So you're probably all like, stop beating around the bush. My dad used to say that all the time, and get to the point. So Hannah, get to the point.
So here's what we got to do first. We need to change where the money goes first. So our money, instead of it going into the conventional bank, our money needs to start flowing through our privatized banking system. What is the privatized bank?
Your private bank is nothing more than a specially designed and engineered whole life insurance policy from a mutually owned company that pays dividends.
Now, specifically,
That's not what they were thinking we were going to say, though. They're like, oh, I'm done. They're just trying to sell me a whole life.
They're thinking like offshore accounts or something, right?
I don't know what they were thinking. Some magical thing that's flying from space.
But here's what it is. This policy, a whole life policy, needs to be designed specifically for high immediate cash value. And how you know that the whole life policy is designed properly for this concept, the infinite banking concept, we like to refer it as the money multiplier method. But you know it's designed properly because when you put $1 of premium into that policy, immediately within 30 days, you have access to cash value in there that you can start taking out and using. So what we're gonna do is start depositing on $950 a month that we're keeping, and that's the premium deposits that go inside of your policy. Real quick, notice how I say deposits. These are not payments, and here's where the paradigm shift starts to happen. The deposits that we put into our privatized bank, the reason I call it that is because I have access to the capital within 30 days, immediately. And if I put money into an account that I own, I control, don't you think that's treated more as a payment or a deposit? I think deposit, but what word y'all like better, payment or deposit?
Now, here's one thing. I just grabbed my calculator and I figured it out. So if we put $950 a month into this policy, it would take about 6 months. So let's just say 6 months until we had enough money to wipe out the lowest debt, which is the credit card, which to me is the best one to wipe out. So how that would work is we'd save the money, capitalize our banking system. 6 months later, we would take a loan from the insurance company, and we'll get to that loan in a second, and then we would pay off first the $5,000 of credit card debt, which is going to give us $400 a month, because that's the money we were giving away, and roughly 18% that we were giving away. Then we're going to take that and we're going to circle that back, and we're going to recycle and recapture the money we were giving away on that. Now, here's how you look at this. If we had over here, this is just an example, folks, but let's just say we built up $5,000 in cash value inside the policy. What we would be doing is taking a loan from the insurance company.
Why a loan?
Well, because I'm going to get to that if you'd let me. Gosh, cut me off right like that. Why a loan? Because everybody's like, well, I don't want to take a loan. I got enough debts. Yeah, that's what you were thinking, right? Well, we're going to take a loan because the insurance company lets us use their general account money up to the amount of cash value we have. So if we take a loan from the insurance company instead of withdrawal, our $5,000 that we had in the account earning a great guaranteed interest rate plus dividends continues to earn uninterrupted. Now, the insurance company does charge us interest on that loan, but as of today, that interest rate that they charge us is less than the dividend crediting rate they're paying us.
Hey, but here's what some people will think. I have to pay interest on my money. Why am I paying interest on my money? Chris, one more time, because we're not taking our money.
Nope.
We're pulling from the general funds of the insurance company to do this, while all of our money still sits in the policy and grows uninterrupted, tax-free for us.
Absolutely. And you know, when we do the numbers, which we're not going to get into today, but there's plenty of other videos on this YouTube channel that show the numbers, you will find that over time, your money compounding will far, far, far outweigh any money you pay back to the insurance company. So why would we take a loan and pay the insurance company interest on the money that they gave us when it's actually our money?
Yep.
It's because it's not your money you're using. You're using the insurance company's money at a lower interest rate than what the insurance company is paying you in interest and dividends, and the money they're paying you, but wait, there's more. I knew you were just getting ready to interrupt. The interest rate and dividends they're paying you are compounding uninterrupted, meaning that $5,000 is continually earning interest and earning interest on interest as the years go by, while you only pay simple interest on the loan. But we're getting away from the most important thing. We're putting way too much emphasis on this stupid whole life. Yeah. We're missing the most important part here. Hannah, what's the most important part? Yeah, who controls the money?
Who controls the transaction?
But
now,
the credit card companies did prior.
Credit card company did, but now since I paid them off, they're done. They're happy with me. They're not knocking at my door, wanting me and my attention anymore. Now I just freed up that $400 a month that I was paying to them. Now the control is back into my hands. And most people stop there. You can't just stop there. Some people will think, hey, I just freed up an extra $400 a month. I can now go take my spouse on a nice dinner and go take the kids out to a nice amusement park, blah, 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 right? You need to treat your money just how you treat the bank's money. When you pay off that $400 a month, don't just treat it like it's free money to you now. Take that money that you just freed up, now pay it back to yourself and pay back your policy loans.
Here's a way to keep people from making that mistake, because that is the biggest place where people make the mistake. This top part was easy, right? Put money into a specially designed whole life, take a loan, pay off my debt. That's easy. Everybody got that. This is where most people screw up. They don't complete the bottom part of the circle. They don't complete the infinite banking concepts. Now, here's a little tip. When you're doing this, let's just draw a line down the middle here. What you do is go to your bank or any bank in your town, open up a second checking account, and let's call that your segregated checking account. When you pay the credit card off, change the name on the check that you used to write to the credit card. No longer Visa, Amex, or any of those credit cards. Now write your name on that check, but set up a bill pay every month so that $400 a month is now going into this newly created bank account. What that will do is prevent your money from evaporating in the black hole called your regular checking account.
And create discipline and habits.
That's exactly it. It is literally just training yourself to be the bank. You see, there's nothing hard about what we're showing you here, but it is hard because it's 180 degrees different than what you've been taught. So we got to put training wheels on the thing. The segregated account is your training wheels. Now let's just make this simple because we only did one debt. Now, do we have $950 a month still coming into the household discretionary income?
A little bit more now.
We got $950 going in premium deposits into the policy, but now it's $950 plus the $400 we were giving away. So now, if we want to tackle the next debt, which is the car loan, let's figure out how long that would take. So we got $400 plus $950. Now we're saving $1,350. So let's just write that.
Yep.
We got $1,350. So if we've got 18,000 out there divided by 1,350, that car is going to be paid off in 13 months. So now we get rid of 6 months and we write 13 months. So now 13 months, I know, and there's other ways to do this, but let's just stick with this.
I want to add this too.
Yes.
You'll notice how we're lining up these debts from the lowest balances to the highest balances. Not off of interest rates, but lowest balance to highest balance. And just real quick, the reason that we're doing this is because if I can get a debt out of my life and start freeing up that monthly payment I was sending to them, I can now circulate and get that money back into my hands. Now I have the $400 that I just freed up. Now I'm going to tackle on the next debt in line, the lower balance, which is the car. So then I can start tackling on the $400 a month that I'm sending to them. All right, continue on.
And that was roughly 13.33. So let's round that up to 14 months. So 14 months, because I'm trying to be fair here. In 14 months from that time, what we're going to do is we're going to take another loan from the policy, because now we're not going to have $5,000 in cash value. Now we're going to have the $5,000 in cash value plus all the savings that we've been putting in there, which is the $950. Plus we've been putting $400 a month into that segregated account. When we ball all that together in 14 months, guess what? That little car loan over here is now gone. We pay the car loan off, which is like recapturing 4%, but most importantly in this car loan, that's another $400. So now over here in this segregated account, we're now saving $800. Remember, we didn't take any risk. This family didn't have to work any harder. Yes, it took some time. Wealth is not built overnight. It is a marathon, and you must understand this isn't a get rich quick thing. This is a get wealthy and stay wealthy
for generations and generations.
Thinking like I was. Awesome. And we're only done with the car. So now we got 800. So what does that work out to be? So we had 1,350 plus now we're saving $800. And the $800 is just money we were giving away.
No, it would be the 1,350 plus another 400.
13, yeah. So 1,350
plus another 400.
Plus 400. Thank you for correcting me because I'd already added that. But now we got 1,750. 1,750, our last debt, is the one that Joe Biden already paid off. Just joking. Sorry, your card didn't get pulled on that some type of lottery.
You weren't the lucky one.
You weren't the lucky one, so sorry about your luck. But now let's see, we got 1,750, so 25 grand divided by 1,750. So now it's another we'll call it 15 months. So we got another 15 months, and now between the cash value and your segregated account, we can pay this off. So that's another $250 a month we add to savings that used to be money we were leaking to everybody else's bank.
And did we work any harder? Take any additional risk? Lose control over our money?
We changed the way we thought about money and the way we used money. That is all we did here. And I don't know why I'm saying we, they. This is what the Johnsons did. And by doing that, now granted, it took some time. It only took a couple of years if you really think about it, but they wouldn't have paid their debts off in a couple of years. That car loan probably wouldn't have even been paid off in a couple of years. Like, we just wiped all of their debt away. And now that debt, all the debt expenses become
coming back
their
to
wealth.
them. Yep. Now they build, keep, and create the wealth. And hopefully, my hope next is now that we got the debts paid off, how about a new car in the future? How about a new house in the future? Maybe I have some children. I have some expenses coming up for them. Maybe I want to go and invest this money now. See, what I've noticed in my lifetime is when I really start to get control of my money, pay off these debts, opportunities and the options start to present themselves because money will flow and grow to where it's respected to.
Yeah, now unless this family has like a relapse and racks up their credit card again or goes out there and buys a bunch of new cars and finances them with someone else's bank, we've got $2,000 a month. Folks, how long is it going to take for them to save up enough money where they could just go pay cash for a car using their private banking system, make payments back to their banking system for the next car? How about student loans?
But Chris, I want to use that example of the car because here's what some naysayers will say. Well, hey, if I'm saving up this $2,000 a month, why would I take a loan from my policy to go pay for that? I'm just going to charge myself interest. I'm going to have interest that's calculating up now. Why would I take out the loan instead of just going paying cash for that car?
Well, when you pay cash for a car, like if you did it from your bank account, that cash you pay for the car will never work for you another day. That means you lose the earning potential on all of that money. Here, inside the policy, remember, if you've been paying attention, you didn't lose any earning potential on that money. All of your cash value is earning compounding interest uninterrupted. You're not losing that opportunity.
You know who says that? Albert Einstein.
Yeah. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, the most powerful thing in the financial universe. Why? Because it's compounding of your money.
I'll even add one more thought to that. Protection. We don't talk a whole lot about this.
Yeah, young kids.
Yes, and I think we could do a better job. Protection, actually, you went another direction than what I was going. Protection of the death benefit, because like it or not, there's going to be a death benefit on that policy. That's just the cherry on top of the cake. But also the protection of their money and their wealth. Because God forbid, let's say that now after they paid off all of these debts, let's say that the dad wants to get into a business venture and something goes sour and it goes south and he gets sued. If he has his money inside of his policies, is it protected?
Yeah, in most states.
In most states. O.J. Simpson, go look up that story.
Yeah, we won't go there today in today's video, but why was he still a multimillionaire after being sued more than, I think he holds the record, doesn't he, for the most lawsuits?
I'll have to look that one up.
Somewhere close. You guys can do your own due diligence. I'm just guessing, but he's still a multimillionaire. Why? That's where his money was, protected. But I like the protection of the 2-year-old and the 5-year-old. Should something happen to dad or even mom, if we did 2 policies, now all of a sudden those kids will have money that they can continue their lifestyle and whatever remaining spouse. You know, I know we've talked a lot about the Johnson family, but your story is really unique too. And I think we need to basically give this audience an opportunity to see how your family's family banking system has benefited you and all your other siblings.
And Chris, I'll sit down with you. Maybe that'll be our next video that we do together.
Great.
Well, thank you for tuning in with Chris and I hanging out for a little bit. Hopefully this was insightful. I'm telling y'all, you have the power to make these changes. So come and hang out. We will be doing some more content together. And until next time, I'll catch everybody then.
Hasta la vista.